So my wife here said the first time she met me, she thought I was a jerk. So, hey, here's another Kilby Live video. Obviously, it's me and my wife here, and we're going to go over a little bit of how we met. So my wife here said the first time she met me, she thought I was a jerk.
It's true. He was rude.
Nothing's changed.
Rude.
We're dabblers in a lot of things. We do homeschooling, mostly her. I do all the fun stuff where I take the kids out hiking and discipline. Won't even go there.
He's the principal.
Homeschooling. We do some like mini homesteading. We could talk about that. I like the garden. We raise quail and rabbits. I also, years ago, started to get into mushroom growing. My wife put a note here, the legal kind. It was just interesting to get into mycology. I had a buddy that took me out mushroom hunting one time, and that was that. So I'm already taking rabbit trails. Dabblers in ministry work. We've been involved in ministry together for 15, 16?
Yeah, probably
17,
over 16 years.
A long time. And so we're coming up with some of these, some ideas. And I told my wife, I was like, do you know what? Maybe we should just tell our story on video and just get it out there. We wanted to create a record of memories for our kids, but, as Christians, we're Christians, by the way, we like to be a light in the world, and we're not perfect people. We're not special. We don't think we're amazing. We don't look at ourselves in any lofty way. Through the experience we have in our lives, or have had in our lives, we can bring some value to people, to the value to the lives around us. And you put this on the internet and it could reach more people. So I hope we bring value to you. The arbitrary, I hope we earn your subscription. We're
comment and like.
We're trying to sell ourselves here. It's not that. We're just trying to do something different. This is scary, weird stuff, and I heard someone say, punch fear in the face, and just kind of put your story out there. And I'm hoping that God can use this to encourage some people and to just add value to their life. And even if you don't believe in God or whatever, wherever you come from, or we're just people, right? We're just people, and we're just sharing our story, and we hope that you enjoy it.
So yeah, we just celebrated our 14th anniversary in January, and we dated for 2 years before that. We were engaged for 6 months. So really, we've been together for over 16 years. So like he's saying, we are not experts. We have not figured everything out, but we have had a lot of experience in doing life together so far, and doing it well for the most part. And today we were going to just tell you a little bit about how we met and how I've known your dad longer than you have.
Did you hear what she said? She said she's known my dad longer than I have. Well, that's a long story, and I'm not sure I'm going to get into it today. Let me start this with a joke. Do you know what the hardest year of marriage is? Anybody? It's the current year. It's always the current year. The current year is always the hardest year of marriage, because marriage takes work. It really does. And us 14 years in, or 16 years into a relationship with 8 kids, we're in the whirlwind of it right now. And it's a lot of work. And it's a miracle that we got time right now to even sit here and you can't hear anything. Listen.
That's because we waited till almost 11 o'clock at night.
It's a little late.
Yeah. So I thought we could start by telling a little bit about our own personal backgrounds and maybe kind of how we got to where we were when we met.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, I was kind of a jerk in high school. I went through a phase where I wasn't like a terrible kid, but I was not doing anything fantastic either. And then coming out of that, I just wanted to take the focus off of myself a little bit and serve and give back. And my dad was involved in a ministry that was run by my Sunday school teacher who I had in 9th grade. And I'd known him for like 6 years at that point. And he ran a couple of teen youth outreach centers. So I ended up calling him up and volunteering at one of the teen centers. And one of the things we would do before we opened every night was do a Bible study for a small group of the volunteers, just to get together and kind of touch base and focus on something before we opened up for the night. And so one night we're sitting in this Bible study, and this super tall, really skinny, long-haired guy
Opposite of what I look like now.
who's wearing boots. I don't know why he was wearing boots. I have that in my head. He walks in, and I immediately was like, okay, who's that guy? Because I'd never seen him before. And so Jim, my former Sunday school teacher, who, again, at this point I'd known for probably 6 years, introduced him as his son, which was really kind of bizarre because I'd been around his family a lot, and I knew all of his kids, and I had no idea who this guy was that just showed up.
Yeah. I was just thinking about Big John, was a guy that was there at the time, coming over to me and saying, can I help you? Because it was a teen center, and I was, 25, almost 26, and I had long hair, and I was looking a little rough, and he was trying to kick me out of there.
It's time to go, buddy.
Well, the reason she never heard about me is because my dad didn't even know I was alive until I was like 21, 22 years old. Like I said, long story for another video. But I met my dad. Surprise, you got a full-grown son. I'll throw a picture in here of what I looked like then. And after I met my dad, it was about a few years later, but I ended up moving to Dayton, Ohio. And yeah, I was 25, 26 years old. And my dad, like she was saying, had started a couple teen centers. And so I had no job and I had nothing to do, so I tagged along and got almost kicked out. But that's where I went. That's where I met my wife.
First time we met, he was sitting at this long bar that we had where we served pizza and pop, and I walked up to him and thought, okay, fine. So he's Jim's son. He's just here for a visit. I'm going to be nice. So I walked over and I was like, hey, how long are you here for? I didn't touch him at that point. That would have been bad. Like, hey, how long are you here for? And he looks at me with the blankest expression and goes, forever. So yeah, I thought he was a jerk.
Yeah, but at least I wasn't a liar. At that point,
That's true.
I don't know why I said that. I think maybe I'm hard to read and I have a dry sense of humor sometimes, but like I think I meant it.
I think you did too.
I think I meant it. I was like forever, but yeah, I didn't realize how much of a punk I was. What happened is when we were running these teen centers, how do I say it? There's a lot of kids doing a lot of damage to the walls, and for some reason this girl over here that was volunteering like started showing up at the other teen center. I started working there at the skate park, and she started showing up there with her dad, like super interested in fixing drywall.
I can fix drywall.
She could fix drywall. I could break drywall. But and so we started talking and just hanging out and spending more time together. She became the manager at one of those teen centers, and I ended up being a director and managing one of the other ones. Mm-hmm. But I also worked at the one she was at on the weekends for a while. So we did a lot of events. We used to do lock-ins, and those are like, how would I say it?
Torture.
Yeah,
Would be the word
torture.
you're looking for.
I was thinking nightmare, but we were doing the Lord's work back then. Staying up till 9 in the morning with kids sweaty and yelling at you and stuff. But we had a lot of time to talk about God and Jesus and just where we were in life. And I was I still am. I was and am still 6 years older than you. So there was a little bit of an age gap, but like it wasn't that crazy.
Yeah.
But yeah, we got to know each other. During that time of my life, specifically, I was reading my Bible a lot.
Proverbs.
Yeah, I was quoting
Lots of
Proverbs a lot, and to me, it was just one of those things. I was like, I think what God was doing was trying to make sure we weren't unequally yoked. We got a light in there flickering, but I think God was trying to get us not to be unequally yoked. I knew that God had a plan for us, obviously, and so I had some catch up to do at that point.
Yeah, I mean, our upbringings were pretty different up until this point. I grew up and my parents, pounded into our heads, every date is a possible mate. Not even kidding.
Hey,
that
I didn't
was
know
the
that.
rhyme.
I didn't know
Yeah.
that.
And so that was something that I thought about, even though it sounds silly, but I didn't want to date somebody just, for the sake of dating. And up until we started dating, I had gone on maybe a handful of dates, nothing serious. And I used to actually tell the teens at the teen center that breakups were the one thing that I couldn't help them with. I'd never really gone through it, and so they would have to find somebody else for that one.
Yeah. Well, and I was kind of the opposite of that. I wasn't the most crazy person in the world, but yeah, I didn't have a lot of those values. I was just running wild like I was raised by wolves. No offense to my family. But I was wild, and I had a few relationships, but I had gotten out of one right before I moved here, and I remember telling her I'm not dating anyone for a year, which is literally just let me give you this life hack, guys, young guys. If there's women talking to you,
I know where you're going with this.
If there's women talking to you about relationships, interesting to say, I don't want to date anyone for a year. Next thing you know, they're coming out of the woodwork. They won't leave you alone. They're fixing drywall. They're just everywhere. But the thing is, you really got to mean it. You gotta really mean that, like, you're ready to be serious, and you don't want to mess around anymore.
This is true.
Well, there you go. You could delete your Christian mingle or whatever it is.
That's all the marriage advice we have.
There you go.
We're done. Just
done.
Declare yourself unavailable. Cheers. Good night. So after we had worked together for about a year, and yes, I was over there fixing drywall a lot. And happened to show up early, stuck around a little bit later. I was there a lot. It's fine. But Aaron finally called and asked me if I wanted to go out to lunch with him. And I had no idea if we were going on a date or if we were just hanging out. I didn't know what we were doing. So I remember panicking a little bit and then telling my mom that I had to go to an ATM first to make sure I had money. And it was kind of a mess. But we went to Tumbleweed and I had chicken salad. And I remember that.
Yeah, you had chicken salad on every date for the first
for
2 years, probably.
Yeah.
I'm trying to remember this off the cuff. I do remember going to Tumbleweed. I do know that it's out of business now.
It is.
I don't know if I thought it was serious. I thought it was just obviously I knew you were a girl, right? But but I was kind of just.
I just need to process that one for a minute.
I remember just trying to keep it kind of chill. I didn't want to I didn't want to overreact or be one of those smooth talkers or do anything crazy. It was let's have lunch, and you were having a whirlwind, and
because that's what I do.
I do remember not going back there ever. Because I think our service wasn't that great.
It was not that great. That was the one and only time we ever went to Tumbleweed.
Yeah, and it's out of business now, so yeah. Other than that.
See, I thought he was a jerk when I first met him, and I made zero impression. That's what he's saying right here. Nothing.
I just don't think my brain works that way, honestly.
So we kept serving together. It looked different as time went by. He was at one teen center, I was at another. And for a while, he was at one on Friday and Saturday nights, and I was at the other one. And he used to call me every Friday and Saturday night at 10 o'clock. And I don't even think he knew you did that, consciously. But every Friday and Saturday night at 10 o'clock, I would make sure I was up near the front of the building because you would call me. And it was quieter up there. So there you go. And it wasn't until probably a few months after that first date that we even had the, so we're dating conversation. It kind of took us a while to nail down that that's what we were actually doing and pursuing. And
guard her heart.
Guard my own heart.
Yeah.
So, we had a lot of interesting conversations early on in our relationship. And I think we're going to talk about that a little bit probably next time, how our relationship looked and why it looked that way. Because to the outside world, we probably looked a little bit different than a lot of 20-somethings. I wasn't even 20 at that point. I was 19. But a lot of people, we just chose to do things a little bit differently than a lot of the people around us.
We were both working in youth ministry, and we had all these eyeballs on us, which was kind of tough. But it was also good because our hearts were really convicted of trying to do things well in front of people and trying to be good examples to people around us. And so, we ended up deciding that we weren't going to kiss. That was one of the big ones. And we ended up not kissing for 2 years of us dating, which people think it's crazy, and it was. It doesn't matter now. We have 8 kids.
We have 8 kids.
But we could talk about another episode. But I remember it hitting me, just share a little of her, I found out that she had never kissed a boy. And I don't know what it was, but it was like, I remember like praying and just thinking about that, and just thinking like that's a huge I felt like it was a huge responsibility for me, because I was like, that's important. And, because I've seen how easily even just the first kiss just happens, and how I just seen how important it is. And I didn't want to be that jerk guy that was like, oh, hey, let's just make out and that's that, and then, stop dating and leave another person in your wake or whatever. And I just didn't want to. I felt the weight of it. It was a huge thing. It was a huge thing for me. And she told me, she's like, oh, maybe we could have kissed, like, if I would have been, like, hey, we're dating and this kind of stuff. But I'm glad it turned out the way it has, because over and over, our relationship, that foundation that was laid, which is in the past, has helped people over and over and over again. And that really
it's helped us over and over and over again, I feel like.
Well, it's helped us over and over with so many things like trust and trust issues, and I think even just leading to even just recording this video, honestly, just to kind of tell the story and say that there are healthy ways to have relationships. There are, it's okay to do things different. It's okay to deny yourselves and just try to be good examples to people. And I feel like I'm rambling now, but at the end of the day, no one can take that away from us.
So, of this series of our marriage story and our relationship story, we're going to call this episode 1. And next time we come back, we're going to talk again a little bit more about the standards that we had in our relationship and why we had those standards, and just kind of what it looked like for us during those 2 years that we were dating, and maybe even a little bit while we were engaged.
Yeah, and so our goal on this was to probably do one once a month. We're doing other videos with the kids, which I'm trying to do weekly, just all over the place.
Hopefully some more homeschool videos.
Yeah, just trying to just kind of show our life and teach, and just I've been enjoying going out with the kids and having fun. But if there was anything in here that you want to know about us, leave a comment down below, and you can ask us anything. And if we ignore you, it's because we don't want to answer it.
Seems fair.
No, just honestly, if you have any questions, or you'd like to ask us anything, spark any interest in you, just leave a comment below, and maybe that could be another video or whatever. So we hope to encourage you through this, and hope to add some value to your life. And yeah, have a good night or something. We need a tagline.
Kilby out.
Well, thanks for watching another Kilby Life adventure.
Yeah, we'll see you next time.
Quite the adventure.
I'm afraid of what you're going to use as like outtakes and us being ridiculous.
I can't even see your face because it's all blurry.